The Rose in the City. By the creek where dows swayed in silver sleep, she worked beneath the heat and hum of noon. Her hands, gentle as morning rain, painted dreams across forgotten walls. They called her Layla, daughter of no fortune, but her art held the wealth of 1,000 souls. Her colors spoke of things unseen. A falcon above a desert bloom, a prince standing alone beneath the moon. And though she'd never met him, she felt him in every breath of wind, as if destiny whispered his name through her brushstrokes. One day his convoy passed her street. She looked up, just once, and saw a face she had only dreamed. The world stopped breathing. A glance, no words, but enough to shift the earth beneath them. He, the ruler of skies. She, a flower among stones. Two souls recognizing a story, written before birth. That night Hamdan could not sleep. The echo of her gaze haunted his silken halls. He wrote again upon the sand, "If love be forbidden, let it still bloom, for even a desert deserves a rose." Part 3, The Hidden Garden. Days turned to whispers. He searched the markets, the galleries, the mosques, never naming her, yet seeking her everywhere, until one evening fate unfolded its hand. In a courtyard by the old souk, she painted a wall of night and stars, and he, veiled in simplicity, approached, not as a prince but as a man unnamed. "Your art," he said, "feels like the sky has spoken?" She smiled, unaware that the sky itself stood before her. "Art," she replied, "is what remains when silence finds courage." Their talk was light, but the air trembled with truth. He left with paint upon his sleeve, and a name upon his heart, Layla. Days turned to whispers. He searched the markets, the galleries, the mosques, never naming her, yet seeking her everywhere, until one evening fate unfolded its hand. In a courtyard by the old souk, she painted a wall of night and stars, and he, veiled in simplicity, approached, not as a prince but as a man unnamed. "Your art," he said, "feels like the sky has spoken?" She smiled, unaware that the sky itself stood before her. "Art," she replied, "is what remains when silence finds courage." Their talk was light, but the air trembled with truth. He left with paint upon his sleeve, and a name upon his heart, Layla. Part 4. The Veil of Secrets. The palace glimmered with chandeliers and council. His advisors spoke of alliances and heirs, but his thoughts drifted to a girl by the sea, whose laughter carried the weight of stars. He began to visit her secretly. Beneath the archways by the old harbor, among the gulls and date palms, their love grew like dawn, gentle, certain, impossible to hide. Yet secrets are sand. They slipped through fingers of fate. Whispers began to stir. Who was this girl that stole the prince's mind? A commoner? An artist? The court grew restless, and Hamdan, caught between love and duty, stood on the edge of two worlds. Part 5. The Storm Within. The desert wind turned harsh that season. The sands rose, mirroring the fury in the palace. His father's council demanded truth. "She is beneath your station," they said. "Kings do not marry whispers." But Hamdan's heart rebelled. "Then let my crown fall," he answered, "for I was born not to rule hearts, but to feel them." He rode that night into the open dunes, where the moon hung like an unanswered prayer. Layla followed, not out of fear but faith. They met beneath the same stars that had first seen them born. He took her hand. "If love is a sin," he vowed, "then let the heavens forgive me last." I felt the desert stir within me, a kingdom of stillness breaking open. No mirage, no shadow could deceive me now. Something true had found its path. You were not there in form or face, yet the air knew you, and even the falcon circling high tilted its wings toward where you would be. I heard your laughter. In the hush between the wind's sighs, I saw your eyes in the twilight star, unreachable yet pulling me closer. They say love begins with sight, but mine began with silence. It was born between breaths, between the heartbeats of an unseen world. The dunes became my witness, their curves like verses in God's design. I traced them with my gaze, and whispered your name again, not knowing who you were, only knowing that you were mine. The camel bells sang faintly from afar. Nomads passed, carrying tales and water. But I was drinking something purer, the thirst of love endless and sweet. I built no tent, for my heart had no rest. I chased the echo of your shadow. Across the dunes that glowed like gold, every horizon bent toward your unseen smile. Night came wearing the robe of stars, and the moon, gentle, curious, leaned low to kiss the sleeping earth. I lifted my eyes to her silver face and whispered, "If you see her, tell her I am waiting still." The moon did not answer. She only shimmered, soft and knowing, like a messenger who carries love's burden, yet cannot speak its name aloud. Then came the wind again, cool, perfumed with far-off rain. It brushed my cheek like a tender hand, and I knew, somewhere, you had smiled. My heart began to write its first poem, not with ink, but with breath, with longing that burned and healed at once. Each word was a step toward you, each pause a prayer. The stars rearranged themselves, drawing your initials in faint silver lines. Even the night creatures fell silent, as though listening to what could not be said. And I, a wanderer of my own soul, felt the birth of something timeless. Love, pure as dawn on untouched dunes, boundless as the sea that dreams beyond them. When I closed my eyes, I saw you walking, your robe trailing whispers of jasmine, your eyes like the edge of twilight. Every step you took echoed in the hollow of my chest. Was it dream or destiny? I could not tell, but I knew this. The desert, once empty, now had a heartbeat. And so I began to follow the light that rose not from the sun, but from within me, lit by the thought of you. I walked till the stars bowed westward, till dawn painted the dunes in fire. And there, between night and day, your name became my prayer. I did not seek the world any more, for the world had narrowed to your smile. I did not ask for heaven, for heaven had taken your form. O love, you came like wind unseen, like mercy in the thirst of soul. You made the silent sands sing, and the lonely heart bloom. Love, you are my compass and my mirage, my truth and my dream, the pulse beneath my palm, when all else sleeps. The eternal garden. The desert was silent that evening, as if the world itself held its breath. A twilight of rose gold and ember stretched, from dune to sea, from heaven to heart. The wind that once carried her laughter now whispered her name through the palms. Hamdan stood alone before the horizon, not as a ruler, but as a man laid bare. His robe was the color of twilight dreams. His eyes reflected the thousand sunsets. They had watched together from the palace balcony. He had built cities from sand and starlight, written poems that outlived the night, but all his glory bent before one truth, that love once found is never truly lost. She was the rose, he murmured, and I, the falcon who learned to land. She taught the wind to carry peace, and the heart to kneel, unplanned. And then, a scent of jasmine crossed the air, soft as prayer, real as memory. He turned, and there she was, not as mortal flesh, but light itself, woven from moon and mercy. Her eyes were constellations reborn, her smile the dawn that conquers despair. Time bowed its head. The desert held still. She spoke, her voice a breath of grace. You sought me in kingdoms and verses, but I was in the silence between them. Love is not the finding, my prince. It is the becoming. He reached for her, and in that touch worlds dissolved. The sand became petals. The dunes became gardens, and all of Dubai shimmered like a prayer answered. No crown, no court, no fear remained. Only the pulse of two souls, woven like wind around flame. They say the garden still blooms, hidden behind the royal walls, where falcons rest beneath the stars, and roses never fade. Every night the city glows a little brighter, and those who listen closely swear they can hear a falcon's cry, answered by a woman's laughter, dancing across the sea. For love of the truest kind is not bound by time or throne. It is written in wind, sung in sand, and carried forever by the hearts that dare to believe.